Sitting down once again with Jamie from Donaldson Home Services. All right, Jamie, I'm gonna test your IAQ. I didn't say IQ, I'm testing your IAQ. First and foremost, what does IAQ stand for?
Indoor air quality.
Okay. How much time on average would you say we spend indoors?
So it's gonna range from person to person, but generally speaking, you're gonna spend 80% of your time at a minimum in an indoor environment.
Okay, so when the weather gets unbearable out there this summer, we're gonna be spending a lot more time indoors. Let's talk about indoor air quality, because believe it or not, with all the pollution outside, it can be even worse indoors.
Yeah, it's far worse indoors because we bring the pollution in with us. We bring chemicals, we bring components into it that off-gas into our environment. And outdoors, it's got a place to go. Indoors, it's very much contained.
Okay, so knowing that, a lot of people are hitting the panic button. Let's talk furthermore about when the windows get open, because we wait in southwestern Ontario 6 months out of the year to be able to have the windows open 6 minutes before things get too drastic again. All those pollutants and everything else that come in, pollen, everything else that can impact your health, that can impact your family's health, you know, not to mention things like mold, dust mites, all of that other fun stuff. What are some tips on improving air quality in the home?
We've talked about, you know, when it comes to air conditioning, that opening the windows isn't a great thing, right? The other side of that, though, when it comes to indoor air quality, is it is a good thing. If you think back to your grandmother, when you're growing up, you're sitting in your grandmother's house, and it's springtime, and what's she doing? She's going around opening up every window, every door, and she's airing the house out. And the idea of that is, without really understanding the science behind it, they recognize that, you know, there's a stuffiness, a smell that comes with a home over a winter, and we're trying to remove that. That's the indoor air quality components. It's the VOCs, it's the dust and debris that builds up inside of our house, and we're trying to clear it out. So it's important to do that. The problem is back then we were already dealing with air infiltration. Every house was built kind of loose. You get air coming in around windows, doors, electrical outlets. You'd sit in the home and you'd feel the draft. The wind would change and you'd know it because the air movement changed inside the home. Our building practices have changed. Now every single home is completely enclosed by a layer of plastic. And that plastic it goes in and out of all of the walls and the structures and around the flooring, and it's designed to really put us inside of a plastic bag. It does what it's supposed to do. It minimizes that uncontrolled air filtration, but what it does is drastically increase the VOCs, the dust, the debris that's hanging out in our house, and we now have to learn how to deal with that. You can open up a window. That's going to help. It's going to increase the cost of operating things like your furnace and your air conditioner. It's going to decrease your comfort from a temperature level, but from an air quality level, it absolutely will improve it.
Okay, I don't want to freak anybody out that's watching this right now, but we've got some high-risk offenders in the air in our home. What would you say are the top 3 things circulating when it comes to the air that we're breathing within those 4 walls?
So, I mean, the thing that you're going to see most often, and that's if you think you're walking into a room and you've got a beam of sunlight coming in and you've got all that debris that's floating in the air. Most of that's dust, and dust at the end of the day is vast majority of its skin cells. It sounds disgusting, it feels disgusting, but it's not really damaging to us. The ones that are damaging to us that we may not see as much is mold and mildew, which happens when humidity gets too high inside of the home, or VOCs. VOCs are volatile organic compounds, and it really is anything that off-gases. We use a ton of things in our home that off-gas VOCs. If you can smell a cleaning product, what you're smelling is the VOCs, right? So perfumes, cleaning products, chemicals that we use inside of the home, bleach, laundry detergent, these are all things that off-gas VOCs. And we recognize that, generally speaking. What people don't think of is new furniture, new carpet, new flooring, poured concrete, drywall, drywall mud, paint. These are all things that also are putting VOCs into our home. And we want to figure out how to handle those things in a safe manner, remove them from the house so that it's not creating an environment inside that's 5 times worse than a downtown corner in London.
There are some things that you can do to keep the outside and reduce the dampness and the moisture within your home. And again, it doesn't cost a whole awful lot.
No, I mean, we'll kind of do an okay, a good, and a better option. And an okay option is open up the windows, circulate the air inside of the house. We've talked in the past about the cost increase that's going to come with that, but that is an option. Better option is an HRV. And HRVs are really designed to work or operate during the winter primarily. And what they do is they take air from outside, they bring it into the home, and we use the warm air inside to heat up the air that's coming out, and then we put the warm, stale air outside. So we're exchanging the air, but we're capturing the heat. HRV is heat recovery ventilator, right? So the idea is that we're constantly exchanging the air. You're a lot healthier in that side of the home. Things like allergies, asthma, that kind of stuff, we typically see them reduce when you're putting in an HRV. And a better option is an ERV. Now, an ERV and an HRV are very, very similar in that they exchange the air inside of the house for fresh air coming outside. But the advantage of an ERV is it also transfers moisture. So during the summer, when we have reduced the humidity level inside of your home, and you're trying to exchange air with air outside that, even though it might feel dry, when we cool it down, it's going to be very dense for moisture. We want to take that moisture that's coming in and dump it into the air that we're sending outside. So it allows us not just to recover the heat or the cooling, but it allows us to recover or remove the humidity that we've paid to do in the home as well.
Summertime. And I mean, truthfully, it's southwestern Ontario, so all seasons are barbecue seasons. A lot of people are going to be cooking outside, but we still do use the stove quite often during the summer months. Let's talk about what goes into the air when we're cooking with the gas stove, because it can spike some levels in the home too.
Absolutely. So anytime you burn anything that's a carbon base, it's wood stoves, natural gas, propane, candles. One of the off gases of that is going to be carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. Now, both of them not really great for your home, so it's important that if you're using a stove as an example to cook inside, winter or summer, you want to make sure the exhaust vent is running. That's going to help remove some of those, we'll call them VOCs, but some of the chemicals and some of the compounds that are being released into your home to keep your home healthier.
Also reduces some of the smell whenever my wife starts to cook, because when you talk about things that get burnt.
Not touching that one, Jay.
How long should we run that range hood for, approximately, after we're done?
So generally speaking, it doesn't have to operate very long. This stuff clears out fairly quickly. So turn it on when you turn on your gas stove, let it run for 30 seconds after you turn it off. After that, you're generally going to have the vast majority of it removed.
All right, with the change of the season, everybody's phone is blowing up. I mean, these were the OG, and I don't want to say scammers, but you would always get a call or a text and, hey, how clean are your ducts? We want to clean your ducts. Let's get our ducts in a row, Jamie, and talk about how important it is. That's why they pay me the big bucks, brother. Let's talk about how important it is to, A, make sure that your ducts are clean, but also how often do we actually need them clean? Because we got people calling us every week saying, we want to come clean your ducts. You don't have to do it every week.
No, not by any means. At the end of the day, the ductwork is really used to move the air throughout your house, right? So it's picking up air from everywhere in your home, bringing it down to the furnace, putting it back out to the rest of the home. With that comes a collection of the dust and debris that is floating. So again, you see the sun coming in, you see the dust motes in it, that's the stuff that we're carrying into the ductwork. And over time, those things will build up and catch on things that are in the ductwork. Ductwork's not perfectly smooth, there's gaps, there's edges, there's things that are going to catch dirt and debris, and over time it's going to build up. Generally speaking, duct cleaning only needs to be done every 3 to 5 years. Your home is going to help decide that. If you have a lot of carpet in the home or pets in the home or you wear shoes inside of the home, that's going to reduce how long they're going to last. If you start seeing a lot of dirt and debris or dust forming on things, it's probably an indication that it's going to be something that you want to consider and do. Duct cleaning is a subject that is very difficult to have a conversation with people about because there has been a history of so many questionable companies that are offering this practice, and you get harassed with it all the time. And you see these $79, $89, $99 duct cleanings. At the end of the day, duct cleaning is important. It does do things that help your home. It's going to help with indoor air quality. It's going to reduce asthma attacks. It's going to reduce allergy reactions because we're taking some of that stuff and removing it. But you need to recognize what it actually takes to do. To do a proper duct cleaning is going to take at least 2 to 4 hours. So a lot of these companies that come in and you're one of 8, or hey, we've got 6 others in the area and we just want to fit in a couple more to make it worth our while. The fact that they can do 8 in a day tells me it can't be done or it's not being done properly. To do it, they're going to have to go to every register inside of your home, every return air and every supply air grill within your home. So they have to walk through your whole house. There's no other way of doing it. We need the access points at every location. They should have something that uses a high pressure air system on it. So there are some duct cleaning companies that come in with what you might consider to be what looks a lot like a shop vac. And there's nothing to really peel the dust and debris off of the ductwork. So you want to use something that's got a high pressure air. It creates a cone of air, and as we're pushing it through the duct, it peels all that dirt and debris off, frees it up into the air, and then it allows a high velocity vacuum system to suck it out. But this stuff takes time. It takes access to a significant amount of home. Generally speaking, we only do 2. If I've got 2 guys on it, we'll do 3 a day, and that's max. That's all we're going to be able to manage to do it properly. But because of that, it's going to cost a little more money. So I always tell people that, frankly, if a duct cleaning is going to be less than $300, it's probably not going to be done the right way.
I believe the expression is, if it sounds too good to be true, it generally is.
Yep, or you get what you pay for. And unfortunately, some of these companies really take advantage of that or the fear that's around it. Duct cleaning really removes some of that dirt and debris that's in your home, but it's not something that, generally speaking, if you don't do, is going to result in mold or any major VOC buildup. The dirt and debris that collects inside of the home is the dirt and debris that's floating, and we've already talked about 95% of that debris is skin cells, right? It's not pleasant, but that's what it is, and that's not something you're going to get a whole lot of organic growth on.
A lot of parents going to be watching this. Maybe they've got a kid at home that's coughing, sneezing, feeling a little bit groggy. There could be a myriad of reasons in terms of air quality, et cetera, at the home. Is there a hierarchy of fixes if you start to see any of those types of symptoms? I realize you're not a doctor, but when it comes to within the 4 walls, you're certainly an expert.
So if it's an indoor air quality concern, so a lot of things that have to do with how the lungs work, right? How we breathe. There are things that we can do to make things more comfortable. Simple check and change, check your filter. If it's got like what looks like a fiberglass mesh, it's not high enough to actually do anything from an IQ standpoint. But you also don't want it to be so dense that it's restricting airflow. So you get some that have a very high pleat count. And yes, they do an amazing job from an IQ standpoint, but they're going to hurt the furnace. So having something with a low pleat count, I always say about 14 pleats per foot is a good way to start with a filter, or a thicker filter. It's 4 or 5 inches that allows better airflow. That's a great place to start. If your filter's in good shape and you're still having issues that are respiratory, there are better filtration systems out there that pick up finer particulate. I mean, you've got HEPA systems. Trane's got something called a Clean Effects. These are things that take extremely small particles out of the air. Like, it'll pull cigarette smoke out of the air and hold on to it so it's not traveling throughout the rest of the house. There's the HRVs and ERVs that we've talked about, where we're just removing the stale, bad air out of the home altogether and bringing fresh air in on a regular basis. And those things should run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're going to go into high ramping when they need to, but they're just going to give you a constant supply of fresh air. Almost every home that we've put these in that have come from a place where there was a respiratory issue, it has significantly improved the life of the individual dealing with the respiratory problems.
As we move into summertime, a lot of people are going to be spending time outdoors, but it also frees up a little bit more time for some of those contractors that are busy in the fall and the winter. It can be an ideal time to get some of those home renos done. Everybody loves to run the AC while the contractors are in there. You're laughing, probably not a great idea.
So it really depends on what they're doing. If they're doing demolition, drywall mudding and sanding, anything that's putting debris into the air, that's something you need to be concerned about with an air conditioner. Inside of your furnace, above your furnace, there is a coil. And the best way I can describe the coil is it kind of looks like the rad on your vehicle. It's got a bunch of really fine fins on it with a little bit of spacing on it. So when we're running an AC, that's collecting the humidity out of the air, so it's constantly covered in moisture. And when you mix things like drywall dust, when you mix it with construction debris dust, and that's flowing through it and it hits this wet coil, it ends up creating kind of a mud or a sludge. And it starts blocking the coil. And it's just like when we have a dirty filter, with that restriction on the coil, it limits how well the air conditioner works, increases the cost of operating it, and over time ends up causing issues with ice buildup, and now you're into a major repair. So you're best during the periods when you have to have something, make sure that you turn the AC off, don't operate with it, and make sure that the filter is clean and constantly being replaced during construction.
Jamie, while we're talking about air quality, obviously a lot of people know that there's been change in the legislation regarding carbon monoxide detectors. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so they've recognized the importance of carbon monoxide detectors in a home, and that CO is going to travel and move to different areas depending on the house layout. So they changed the legislation that now you're required to have a carbon monoxide detector on each level, and specifically outside of every sleeping area. So you can have up to multiple on a single floor depending on how the layout of the floor is. But it's about making sure that there is notification when there's a carbon monoxide issue within the home. We've talked about carbon monoxide detectors in the past. Make sure that the date is within line. It will always have a date on it, either on the outside ring of the ceiling mount or on the back of one that's plugged in. They should be current, they should be up to date. Generally speaking, they're going to last 5, 7, 10, or 12 years depending on the brand, so it's always good to check those things.
Whatever the season, whatever the reason, make sure to give Jamie and the team at Donaldson Home Services a call. They truly are the trades you can trust.